Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tulo Hoyane. So as the going gets rough, the rough or the tough get going. Who's Brown Mogotsi, the man who is a go-between between Ket Matala and the suspended Minister of Police, Senzo Mkunu, is now distancing himself from Ket Matlala. He just says he knew Ket Matlala, and if Ket Matlala, is implicated in some criminality or is in some form of trouble, that is none of his business. Just take a listen to this.
Vosmatlala's funding was a usual thing that will happen, that usually happens during your January 8. Business people will fund tables, transportations. How could the investigation team, why did the investigation team in Gauteng end up giving him those communications, which I'm not denying? There are...
You're not denying the communications between you and
Matlala? No, I'm not denying. And for what Vusmatlala is arrested for is none of my business. If he's my friend or someone I know, has nothing to do with his arrest. He'll go to court and answer for that. Even when someone meets with the president or myself meeting with Matal, he never told me in advance, "Well, Baba, be careful. I'm a kingpin, I'm this, I'm that." We are meeting him as a business person. It doesn't necessarily say you are endorsing the person. And I believe the reason he kept the messages is because there was nothing wrong that you were doing. He could have deleted them. And General Mkhwanazi was going to stand there saying nothing about me and Vosmatlala. I know Vosmatlala.
So that is Brown Mogotsi. Let us just, break down what he's saying there. One of the first things he's saying that what Vusi Matala was doing, it's nothing unusual. Vusi Matala was always funding the ANC, especially on its January 8th annual celebrations. So he just dismisses that casually as, nothing untoward. It's, people would fund tables and provide transportation for supporters. And Brown Mogotsi sees nothing wrong with that. Secondly, he says, he's surprised why General Mkhwanazi gave the investigating team the WhatsApp communications between him and Ket Matala. He says Ket Matala could have deleted these WhatsApp messages and Mkhwanazi would have had nothing to say about him. Oh, what an explosive revelation. He also says he met, Ket Matala as a business person. He was not aware that, Ket Matala might have been involved in anything unlawful. And if he's involved in any criminality, that is none of his business. So he's worried mostly that, the most interesting thing that I picked up from there is he says, had Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi not divulged this, WhatsApp messages to the investigators, then people would not have linked him with Ket Matala. Oh, what a wish coming from Brown Mogotsi. But the sad thing is Mkhwanazi did divulge or disclose the contents of those WhatsApp messages between him and Ket Matala, thus linking up the two of them to the suspended Minister of Police, Senzo Mkunu. Another interesting thing there is, Brown Mogotsi is now sort of he's struggling. if I can put it that way. He's struggling to distance himself from Cat Matala to try and play down his association and, his association with Cat Matala. And of course, there's a reason for that. You see, all this could never have come to the fore. Some of the things that people like Brown Mogotsi are saying now could never have come to the fore had it not been of, the initiative of General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi on the 6th of July in that press conference. We would never have known, for instance, of the existence of people like Brown Mogotsi. We would never have known of the existence of a criminal syndicate that went right up to the suspended Minister of Police, Senzo Mqunu. So what Brown Mogotsi is doing here is just too little, too late, The horse has long bolted. This is just an exercise in damage control. You see a man there who is just desperate to distance himself from a very close associate. I mean, if Musmusi Cat Matala was providing the funding and was also working in cahoots with one Mr. Nkabinde, who's supposed to be the chief of staff in the suspended minister's office, they were very close to each other. There's no way Brown Mogotsi can now turn around and look and pretend, not to have been aware of what sort of person, Cat Matala was. He probably knew who Cat Matala was. He cannot, pretend or fake ignorance of, who Matala really is. It is just that at this point in time, it is not convenient for Brown Mogotsi to be seen to be close to Cat Matala or to really have any serious association with him. But he did have a very close relationship because he was acting as a conduit between Cat Matala and the minister. He was funneling money to the ANC activities, the January 8th activities, to the minister emanating from Cat Matala. He should have known or ought to have known where the sources of all those funds were coming from. So this is just, the last kicks of a dying horse. A man who finds himself surrounded with so many damning allegations and who's trying to wriggle his way out of them. Having said that, let me thank you for watching this video. Let me thank you for all the subscriptions and likes that I'm seeing. And have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you.